For those of you duelists who are just getting into Cyber Dragons, or you're revisiting the deck and you need a quick refresher, here's a 2-card combo just for you. And this combo requires only 1 copy of both Cyber Dragon Core as well as Machine Duplication. So to start things off, I'm going to normal summon Cyber Dragon Core, and I'm going to search my deck for Cybernetic Overflow, and then I'm going to activate Machine Duplication right here. It doesn't really matter which zone that you activate it in. Anyway, I'm going to activate Machine Dupe to special summon 2 Cyber Dragons from my deck. And now I'm going to use Cyber Dragon Core to link summon my Salamangreat Almirage. It's important because just like a Lumina Lightsworn Summoner for all you Lightsworn players out there, you need to have a valid target in your graveyard before you can special summon it from your graveyard. So I'm going to use both Cyber Dragons to link to XC summon my Cyber Dragon Nova, detach a Cyber Dragon, and since you have 2 valid targets in your graveyard, that you could target your Cyber Dragon that you just detached from your Nova, special summon it back. And then I'm going to use both of those cards, Almirage as well as Cyber Dragon, to go into Predaplant Verite Anaconda. Well, at this point, you can, in fact, go up into a Cyber Dragon Infinity, just because you have Cyber Dragon Nova already out as material. Now you're going to use Predaplant Verite Anaconda's effect to pay 2,000, and you can send your Red Eyes Fusion to the graveyard. And for those of you who have already been playing this game for quite a while, for a vast majority of time since August 2020, then you already know what's coming up next. Both Dark Magician as well as Red Eyes Black Dragon, and those 2 are going to make Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. So this is a pretty solid board that you can end on. So you have 1 negate for the next 2 turns with Infinity, 3 if you decide to attach Verite Anaconda with Infinity's effect. And you also have Red Eyes Dark Dragoon that you can negate a card or effect once per turn, given that you already have another card in your hand. And you also have Cybernetic Overflow that you can set. And you can banish both your regular Cyber Dragon as well as Cyber Dragon Core from your graveyard in order to pop 2 of your opponent's cards. So if you guys thought that little combo was pretty cool, then be sure to stick around for the deck profile. But before I do that, if you guys enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh videos like this, then be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't so already, and turn on the notification bell so you stay updated on my latest Yu-Gi-Oh videos. For a quick run through of the Cyber Dragons that I play, of course I run 3 copies of the regular Cyber Dragon, as well as 3 copies of Core, 2 of Herz, 1 Nächte, 1 Dry, and 1 Fear. So, of course, Core is the one that you need to in order to search out for your cyber spells and traps. 2 copies of Herz, so that way, in case I need to search out one of my Cyber Dragons from my deck or graveyard. In case I already used 1 Herz, I still have another one ready to go in my deck. Nächte is really here just so I can special summon, let's say, Cyber Dragon Nova or Cyber Dragon from my graveyard. These 2 cards are not really what I initially planned to include in this build, but if you special summon Fear after you normal summon your Cyber Dragon Core, it's good as a chain block. So in other words, you normal summon your Cyber Dragon Core and you activate its effect to search a Cyber Spell and Trap as Chain Link 1, and as Chain Link 2, you can special summon Fear from your hand, so that way it won't get ashed. Dry, I would probably take this one out, basically, mainly because it doesn't really do anything. If anything, what I would do with this, what I would mainly use this for is to normal summon it so it can make all my Cyber Dragons on the field at level 5, so that way it's much easier for me to go into Nova. And for the rest of the monsters, I run 2 copies of Galaxy Soldier. I only decided to run 2 copies of Galaxy Soldier because, well, when you have your 3rd copy, when you already special summoned your 1st soldier and you search for your 2nd one, the 3rd one really doesn't really do anything, but you guys can go ahead and include the 3rd copy if you'd like. I actually decided to replace my 3rd Galaxy Soldier with Gizmek Yada the Gleaming Vanguard. So this is also a level 5 light machine, which is pretty cool. And what you could do is that you could special summon this by attributing your Cyber Dragon Core, for example. So in other words, what you can do is that you can special summon this card by attributing a normal summoned monster that you control. So it says here, during your main phase, if this card was normal or special summon this turn, you can immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon one monster. The downside to this is its second sentence. It says, if you do, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except monsters with the same original type as that monster. So the combo that I showed you earlier, it doesn't lock itself into machines. So that's why I decided to not really go into its normal summoning effect as often as I first thought. So yeah, I still like this. Like I said, it's a good way to get one of these smaller Cyber Dragons to the graveyard, and another way for me to reach my my Cyber Dragon Nova. The other light machine, of course, that I run in this deck is Jizukiru, the Star Destroying Kaiju, searchable off of Cyber Repair Plant. And I forgot to say, this card is also searchable off of Repair Plant. I also decided to run 3 copies of Quick Draw Synchron. I tried to get into this build of Cyber Dragons, thinking that I can incorporate Hulk of Firebrax, but maybe some other time. In the meantime, I'm just including Quick Draw Synchron, just as another level 5 machine that I can use to go into Nova. And I also run 3 copies of Nibiru, the Primal Being. There's a lot of special summoning going on in this format right now. I expect Shaddoll Invoked as well as, what's that other one? Dragon Link to be the 2 most popular decks in this format, so I decided to main deck Nibiru. And last but not least, I run 1 copy of Dark Magician and Red Eyes Black Dragon for the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon play. Next up, the spells. Of course, I'm running 3 copies of Cyber Emergency, and I also run 2 copies of Cyber Repair Plant, as well as 1 copy of Rev System. I'm not sure if other people decide to run Rev System, but I think this is a good way to bring back a Cyber Dragon from your graveyard, or if you happen to have Cyber Dragon in your hand, then you can do that as well. And to continue on with the spells, I run 3 copies of Machine Duplication. Of course, when you have Cyber Dragon Core or Neshta, for example, on your field, you can special summon 2 Cyber Dragons from your deck. And I also decided to main deck Super Polymerization. Because like I said, I expect Shaddoll Invoked as well as Dragon Link to be 2 of the most popular decks in this format. So I happen to have Link Karibo in my extra deck, so that way, if my opponent just happens to have Dark Dragoon on their field, or let's say Makaba or El Shaddoll Winda, then what I can do is that I can go use Neshta or Hertz and go into Link Karibo and then drop Super Poly, and I can make my Predaplant Dracos Stapelia. Any other suggestions for Super Polymerization monsters? Be sure to leave those suggestions down in the comments. In the meantime, I also run 1 copy of Cyberload Fusion, 1 Overload Fusion, 1 Red Eyes Fusion, and the only trap that I run is my 2 copies of Cybernetic Overflow. I would banish my Cyber Dragons first with Overload Fusion and Cybernetic Overflow, and then on a following turn, I can drop my Cyberload Fusion so I can recycle those resources and then prepare to go for game on the next turn. Before I continue with this video, I just want to say thank you for sticking around. If you guys plan to shop on tcgplayer.com, be sure to start shopping using my TCG Player affiliate link in the description below, so that way you support the channel as you buy the cards that you want. And now for my extra deck. For a quick run through of my Xyz monsters, I run 2 copies of Cyber Dragon Nova. Just in case your first Cyber Dragon Nova is in my graveyard, I do happen to have another one in my extra deck ready to go. As you guys have probably already noticed, I do run quite a few level 5s, or ways to get to my level 5s in my main deck, so that's why I decided to double down on Nova as well as Cyber Dragon Infinity. This is a really great card, and I just feel like that if you want to have multiple negates, you can make 1 Infinity on 1 turn, and then you can make another Infinity on a following turn, so that's why I decided to run both Nova and Infinity at 2 copies each. And since I'm running Xyz monsters, of course I'm running 1 copy of AA-ZEUS. This is a great this is a good board wipe if you ask me. For my Link monsters, I am running 1 copy of Cyber Dragon Siga, as well as Verte Anaconda, Salmogray Almirage, and Link Karibo. Just like I explained with my Gizmek Yada and dealing with all my minor Cyber Dragon monsters, Link Karibo, I can make this easily with Neshta or Hertz, and I can even, if I have to, that I can also make Salmogray Almirage with those monsters. But The thing is, Cyber Dragon Core is not a level 1 monster, so in case I don't draw into my Gizmek Yato, that I have Solemn Great Almirage to easily get my Cyber Dragon Core into my graveyard. And now for the fusions. Chimera Tech Mega Fleet Dragon may not be as relevant as it was before, but I still think it's a pretty good out to a few boards. So what I could do on my turn, if I'm going second, I could special summon Cyber Dragon from my hand, then I can normal summon Core, choose to activate its effect or not, and then can use it to link summon my Solemn Great Almirage, and then use both monsters if there happens to be another monster in the other extra monster zone. Then I can use both of those monsters as well as my Cyber Dragon to make Mega Fleet. Like I said, it's a pretty decent out to a few boards if you choose to go that route. I also run one copy of Chimera Tech Mega Fleet Dragon. Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon. So what I plan to send off of Rampage Dragon are Hertz and Core, so that way I can grab Core from my graveyard, so I can use it as my starter for my following turn. I might consider bumping this up to 2 just because maybe 1 just isn't enough. So if I banish my materials off of Overload Fusion, and if I want to go into Cyberload Fusion, then I have another copy of Rampage Dragon ready to go. Of course, I also run one copy of Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Pretty good card, just like Zeus. For my Super Polymerization monsters, of course, I run Dragostopelia, as I explained earlier, as well as Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. I feel as if Dragonlings make quite a few dark monsters, so that's why I decided to include Starving Venom over, what's the other one? Trifeo Veritum. And I also run one copy of Mud Dragon of the Swamp. This might be the card that I might replace for another copy of Rampage Dragon. When I first considered Mud Dragon of the Swamp, I figured that I can drop Nibiru, and if my opponent happens to have a light monster like what's it called? Heavenly Spheres, that I could use both the Nibiru as well as the Heavenly Spheres to make this card, since this card requires 2 monsters with the same attribute but different types. It's not really that good of a card if you ask me. So like I said, if anything, I might replace this card with another copy of Rampage. And last but not least, here's my side deck. Of course, you guys can incorporate your own text into your side deck depending on your playstyle as well as the format. So to start things off, I decided to run 3 copies of Drone Lockbird, still one of my favorite hand traps of all time. And I also run 3 copies of Chaos Hunter, as well as 3 copies of Ghostpell and Haunted Mansion. So, I think there are a few reasons why I decided to include these cards. The main reason for Droll in the side deck is because, of course, like I said, Shaddoll Invoked and Dragonlings are going to be pretty popular decks this format, so I want to be prepared for those. 3 copies of Chaos Hunter, mainly because I figured that when you are going against Evoked players, then you're going to normal summon the Alistair and then search for Invocation and then use that Alistair for Almirage. And when that opponent special summons the Almirage, I could just drop Chaos Hunter. You guys can incorporate Lancia if you want to, but I figured that I want to have an extra monster on the board. Sometimes that's why I sometimes favor Chaos Hunter over Lancia. Ghostbell and Haunted Mansion, I figured that I could include this since Ice Dragon's Prison is a thing, and my opponent will want to try and banish some of my monsters. So this is there for that. Of course, Chaos Hunter is here as well, but I just wanted to have an extra out to Ice Dragon's Prison. I also decided to incorporate Psychic Eraser Laser. This is mainly here so I can have an extra out to Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. And if that doesn't work, then I also have 3 copies of Evenly Matched. This is also good for those players who decide to rely so much on back row, as well as put out extra so many negates on the board. Also for those who cannot afford 3 copies of Lightning Storm right now, Evenly Matched is pretty much the next best thing. Speaking of back row, initially I decided to side in 3 copies of Royal Decree, mainly because Eldritch is still pretty much a thing, and I may have said earlier that traps are pretty much a thing again, so I'll want to be prepared for those back row decks. But the thing about Royal Decree is that people are in fact either main decking or side decking outs to back row, so maybe in a future build I might incorporate Royal Decree, but in the meantime, this is the side deck that I'm going with. So that's it for my Cyber Dragon deck profile, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video and you want to help support the channel, then be sure to like the video. And if you haven't so already, subscribe to the channel and ring the bell so you stay updated on my latest Yu-Gi-Oh videos. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you again.